Hey everyone, I'm going to do an unscripted discussion with, you guys and myself mostly, just to talk about what I've noticed after 2 weeks of grinding pretty hard out there, knocking doors, trying to get customers for my startup, and then, of course, right, doing the social media thing all with a family. Um, obviously, New Year started out grinding pretty hard. Um, you know, Working from my schedule is basically like we wake up in the morning, we get the kids ready, or my daughter ready for daycare, and then my son ready to do whatever he's going to do with my wife. She's in graduate school right now, and um, and then it's basically from there, 8 or 9 to about 1 or 2 in the afternoon. I'm working on the startup. So I'm emailing prospects, I'm calling prospects, I'm LinkedIning with prospects, I'm posting about things on LinkedIn, all in an attempt to actually get customers, to meet people in the space, and then to sell them my product. And then from 2 to about 5:30, I hit the road and I head out and find neighborhoods to knock doors in, literally door knocking. And I did that for 2 solid weeks. We actually had 2 really great weeks. Days were completely full. The business actually got its first customer, which is super exciting and empowering and thrilling. Um, and Knocked a lot of doors, right? Knocking somewhere between 40 and 75 doors a day. Just depends on the day, depends on how much I have, how many inspections I get, etc. But I noticed after 2 weeks of doing that, I noticed that I have to, I should say, I built up a lot of momentum and I did a lot of things, but they were all over the place. I was LinkedIning, I was posting, I was emailing, I was door knocking, I was doing all of these things just to try and get momentum going. And I'm really proud that I did that because it was really great. And it's also shooting with the shotgun. So right now I want to talk about how I plan to narrow that down. Um, it's actually interesting. I was on Twitter, which again is like, in my opinion, a pretty toxic place. And I saw a guy, he posted this. He said, just choose 2 things to do every day and do them by 6 a.m. Right. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't wake up that early. And he actually, suffixed it with an asterisk and said, hey, whatever your wake up time is okay. But just get them done. 2 big things, get them done. And I'm the type of person that likes to have a list of 50 to do things, and I'll try and do 38 of them that day. My brain loves it. I love to get into it. And by 7 p.m. at night, I feel exhausted and I'm brain dead for the next day. And I can never work as well the next day, right? Let's say I have a super busy Monday. So I'm going to take this character's advice, right? And I'll, if I can find the tweet, I'll actually, I'll post it for you guys. But I'm going to start to choose 1 to 2 major things a day to do for each of those efforts, right? And I thought to myself, are you copping out, right? Are you just trying to take, an easy time? Well, no, because ultimately every day I can still knock more doors. And every day, right, I can still email and follow up with people, right? Those are sort of like marginal things that I will just always do. I always allot time for those things. But those 2 major things, right? It might be doing a new email campaign, right? And that takes brain power, it takes time. It takes an hour or 2 or 3 of focus to knock this out. And that's what I didn't have before. But once you get those big things going, right? Those big plans, those big projects going, they have a tendency to pay off much bigger over time, is what I'm thinking, is what I'm hoping, is what I've noticed in the past. As opposed to shooting with a shotgun, I am going to now probably write down at the beginning of the week. That'll probably be the next video where I spend like that Sunday, right? Or that Monday morning figuring out what 7 or 10 or 15 tasks I have to get done that week, right? And just knock them out. For me, my goal is that this helps, first of all, to get big things done. And also that it helps sustainably, it helps me sustainably do it, right? Come Thursday or Friday, I have a tendency to get pretty exhausted from the week. I have a pretty overactive brain. So I'm thinking about all of these different things when in reality, I just need to be focused on knocking these things out. That's, I guess, the main takeaway here is I'm going to be setting up just a list of those 10 or 15 things that have to get done during the week that are just completely non-negotiable, right? Um, Lastly, I'll say, like, I have a big problem with impatience. I expect things. I expect that when I do things, they will immediately pay off, right? I think that's why I neglected to. I think that's why it's hard for me to repeatedly post on social media, right? Whether it's LinkedIn for new customers, Twitter, YouTube, whatever it is, right? Is this idea of consistency, because I'm always trying to achieve more. Because sometimes I get bored with consistency, and that's what I want to fight against, because now I've seen it just over 2 weeks, all of this momentum going, I slowly start to see it pick up, right? And that's exciting to me. It's fulfilling to me, but I am asking myself, okay, how can I do that sustainably, right? Over the course of a 1 year period. So yeah, it's going to be 10 or 15 big things that I establish at the beginning of the week that I just have to get done. And that's that. And we'll go from there. Hope this helps, and I should say it. Hopefully, it helps you guys. If you guys have any feedback for me, like, let me know, because, yeah, I think I've told you guys a lot of what my challenges are. Right, always trying to achieve more, always pushing myself a little bit harder. What I want to learn how to do is just be extremely, extremely consistent. Right. And obviously, that's not at the price of doing like exceptional work or really pushing myself, but really being able to do it day in and day out over the course of a week, of a month, and of a year. That way, it really starts to compound. Because believe it or not, I have done things where I have spent a long time at it and it has compounded. But it just, for me, it takes a really long time and it takes a lot of consistent effort. That has been the one thing that I've identified, right? Is that consistent effort. So yeah, thanks and talk soon.